Adam Meyer of Mill City Lutherie in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that I have done a video on how to do a tailor neck reset. I had a customer call me up who watched that video. He has this Taylor 12 string that needs a neck reset, but this is a different style of neck joint. This is similar to what Martin uses. There's Seagull and a bunch of other brands where the fingerboard tongue is actually glued to the top. So this is not the exact same thing with the shims. So I'm going to show you how to go through what would be the old style of Taylor neck resets. Normally I would go about showing you how I diagnose the guitar, why it needs a neck reset, but I'm not going to cover it in this video, but this guitar is also getting bridge reglue. The bridge is already that far loose on this, so I'm just not going to restring it again. The customer brought it in strung up, and yeah, the action was way too high. It was like about 5 30 seconds on the bass side, which is just too high. And if I take this saddle all the way down flush to the surface of the bridge, you're still just going to be a little bit too high. So it needs a neck reset. You got it. See, that's hitting there. It's supposed to be clear of the bridge, kind of right about even with the top. Looking inside the sound hole at the neck block, you can see that decal there with the signature, serial number, and everything. That's covering up the neck bolts. It's pretty common that there will be a sticker of some sort. The modern style Taylor neck block, they have a Taylor sticker on there. Seagull and other brands, they do their own type of sticker. Martin has a wood badge that they put over the bolt. But hang on a second, I'll see if I can reach and grab this because it already looks like it's loose. Yeah, it was only hanging on by one corner. So that comes out. I'll make sure to keep this clean because I'm going to have to glue it back on. And you see the bolts there. So I'll be warming this up and using a spatula to get this loose from the top. But in there, all I'm going to need to do is take out that bolt. So this is going to be all that's needed to get the fingerboard tongue loose. This is a heat blanket and a little thermostat for it. Or I'm not sure exactly what this is called. I just hold it in place with the wood block, not pressing it down or anything. And we've got the controller over here on the other end of the bench. Once I turn it on, get it up temperature, I just hold it in place for for a while, minutes, and eventually I just start feeling around along the edges until I can get my spatula to go through and separate from the top. So. Neck is taken off again. So as I explained before, what we're going to be doing is the angle of the neck heel. We're going to be taking it this way. We'll be thinning out at the top, not touching down here. And kind of the good thing, since this doesn't have a tenon or dovetail at all, it's just like a flat heel. Normally I would use like my sanding stick or even a chisel to try and trim the edges down. And then you're going from one side to the other, trying to make sure that you're keeping an even amount. But I'm going to be able to just use one block here and just sand evenly on both sides, and that'll help move this along a lot quicker. So kind of the method I like to do Just eyeballing a little bit from experience. I'm taking maybe like a 32nd of an inch, just marking it with the tape. And get this on so it's straight. And then I'll run another piece of tape up the side. And this is kind of a guide so I can see where I'm going, how much I've taken off. I don't go too far. It's always better to stop short on something like this than take it back apart, because you can't really add wood back. So I'll do this on both sides. And really just the idea is I'm going to sand, until I take it back to the tape there. You can see that. As you can see, I have this bolted back on. It is not all the way tight, because what I'm going to do here, I don't know if I can quite show this. Maybe I can zoom a little more. Notice I've got a little bit of gap here and a little bit of gap over there. On the base side, this ended up being more even, but I still need to touch it up a little bit. So to go about this, I've seen it plenty of times before. I'm going to take strips of tape or strips of sandpaper, slide it under here. You just hold the neck in place. And you're going to do this for however many times you need until you get that seam to fit better. That's definitely not enough. 2 strokes, definitely not enough. So I got to spend some more time on that. So I'm going to go through, get this to match up both sides, and then we'll move on to the next step, kind of testing out where the neck angle is. Here's a little important detail. Anybody who has a bolt-on neck acoustic, regardless of brand, many times they just come as a bolt and a washer. I always like to add a lock washer. One of these that has teeth on it. There's a couple different styles. Basically what you need to do, check how much bolt sticks through there. And you want to also check how far it goes into the bushing on the neck, because you want to make sure that you thread in plenty. If you add a lock washer or any washers, you still want to be able to thread into the bushing plenty. So okay, I'm going to give you a close-up look. Lay the straight edge down the neck. You can see there on the base side, I am just proud of the top of the bridge now. Come over to the treble side. We got the same result, so we're right where we need to be. So I'm going to test this out with some strings, see what we've got. Good news. It's looking great as is. I can move on to actually gluing the fingerboard tongue down. A little bit of a luxury since it's a bolt-on neck is I can actually screw it together quick, throw on strings, and see for sure where I really am with adjusting the neck angle. So it's a little extra step. I'm taking a little extra time, but in the end, I kind of like to do it because I know for sure that I have it right. So time to get this back apart. We'll get this fingerboard tongue glued down and finished off. This is what I got for saddle height right now. I'm going to come down, measure at the 12th. Customer has some tape on there for his own reference, but you can see I'm down touching the 2 line, which is a little under what should be up at the 3. So this is looking good. Be able to get a little bit of added saddle height, add a little shim in there, and everything's going to work out great. Staying budget-minded on this project, instead of replacing the saddle and charging for the material and fitting, I just simply I glued a shim of maple to the bottom of it. Not multiple shims. You want to try and just, if you do shim your saddle, you want it to be as few shims as possible, and also gluing it to the saddle helps it be more stable in the saddle slot. There you go. A lot easier than doing a dovetail neck joint. Definitely way quicker than doing a dovetail as well. So we've got everything playing the way it should. It's back to original spec. It plays and sounds great. Time to get it back to the customer. So if you have any questions on repairs like this, or in any of my other videos, my contact information is in the About section of my channel. And we'll see you next time.